So, your affirmations are not working. It's probably because you're missing the two key ingredients. When affirmations are combined with these two missing ingredients, your chances of manifesting increase dramatically. At the end of this video, you're going to know why your affirmations are not working, and more importantly, you're going to know how to fix it. Let's take Jason. Jason is a salesman, and last year he reached a target of $120,000 in commissions. This year, he set for himself the ambitious target of $240,000. Now, Jason uses affirmations. In fact, he does it perfectly. Every day, he does it at the same time in the morning. He uses the present tense. He crafts them as positive statements. He does everything perfectly. And after 3 months, David's looked back at his progress and he's realized he's hit his milestones. He needs to achieve $20,000 in commissions each month, and at the end of March, he hit his target of $60,000. Now, why did David look back and try to find evidence that he was on the right track? The answer is simple. When we're in a high-risk situation, our brains have evolved to become searching machines. They're constantly searching for evidence that we're on the right track when we're taking a risk. So, once we find this evidence, then we're able to strengthen our belief that we're doing the right thing. And this dramatically boosts our confidence, our motivation, and it does a heck of a lot to keep us going. So this is actually a confirmation process where you go about and you make an affirmation and then you try to confirm it by finding belief. And that is exactly one of the missing parts that Jason didn't have in his practice. You really need to add confirmations alongside with your affirmations to boost the chance of manifesting what you want. So these are two parts of the three elements of effective affirmations. So, as we mentioned, Jason looks back for evidence to confirm that he's on the right path. And when you do this, you look for two types of evidence. Jason was looking for outcomes or reaching milestones, and that's what most people do. But what if Jason couldn't find those milestones? Let's say that instead of reaching $60,000 at the end of March, Jason had a shortfall and only reached $36,000. So there was a gap, a $24,000 gap between what his expectation was and what reality was. Well, in a case like this, Jason wants to look at his process. So Jason's process or his strategy is that this year he's going to spend 80% of his effort trying to work to attract key clients, and only 20% of all of his efforts are going to be directed towards everyone else. At the end of January, Jason was using 35% of his effort to attract his key clients, and that number increased in February to 55%, and in March it actually hit his target of 80%. So you see what happens is these are called process goals. Jason, when he was looking at milestones, he was looking at product goals or outcome goals. But process goals is another type of evidence that we can train our mind to search for. And this helps us complete the 3 steps of affirmations and confirmations. So now we have just one more piece to add to this, and that is visualizations. Yes, you probably heard of visualizations, and when you think of visualizing, people normally think of images or mental movies. Well, there's other things that we can do to enhance, to really make our visualization a lot more powerful. And one of the things we can do is to add the other senses. For example, when we're playing a mental movie of maybe making $240,000 in commissions, we can also think about what we would hear and what we would feel. We can also think about what others would say to us, or what we would say to others, or what's going through our minds. And the third thing that we can add is the most important thing is how it makes us feel. What are the emotions that we'll have if we're able to achieve this target? There's two ways to visualize. Most people do it using mental images and movies, and that's fine. If that works for you, go ahead. Some people like me find it actually easier to write descriptions of what they would experience when they reach their target. So they'll write a paragraph or a page describing what they're going to experience, what they're going to see, what they're going to hear, what others are going to say to them, what they're going to say to other people to explain how they reach their outcome. What are they going to think? And most importantly, when they write, they're going to add to it what they are feeling. So, going back to Jason, he has the goal of reaching $240,000 in commission. So this is probably not too easy to visualize, or it's not really that enticing. A more enticing visualization would be to ask ourselves, what would Jason do with that $240,000? Well, if he has $240,000, he has enough money to comfortably buy a new car and still have a lot of money left over. So Jason's visualization would include images, things like what model and make of the car he's going to buy. What color is it? How does it feel when he gets behind the wheel? What does it sound like when he revs up the engine? What does it smell like when he's in that car? And he might think about how is he going to explain this to other people? And what feelings is he going to have? It's going to certainly make him a lot more confident and quite proud that he was able to achieve his dream and buy that sports car. This second missing part of the whole process, it's visualizations. When we make affirmations, we send out to the universe our intention about what we want. Then immediately we need to start confirming by actively searching for evidence. And we can search for milestones or product or outcome, or we can search for the processes. We can examine what strategies we're looking at and making sure we're following those strategies, those processes correctly. And then we can certainly turbocharge the whole thing by adding visualization. And by doing all three of these things, all three parts of the power triangle, we're going to increase our chances of manifesting what we're after.